And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me?
ChatGPT has just turned 2 years of breathtaking announcements.
Today, we are releasing our newest flagship model. This is GPT 4o.
2 years of promises of AI nirvana.
Fake it till you make it. This is a Silicon Valley thing, big time. Or...
But how do you actually make AI deliver for business? Welcome to the NBR Podcast. I'm your host, Simon Shepherd. There was a conference last week run by telco Spark.
Kia ora. Kia ora. And welcome to Spark Accelerate.
The aim to get New Zealand business on the AI train. There were keynotes from Silicon Valley speakers like Tom Gruber, co-founder of the company that built...
I'm Siri.
It's an amazing time for me to be alive.
And another Silicon Valley veteran, Ed Ortega, from a company called Machine & Partners. His specialty, advising business on how to adopt AI. Can you explain why you can offer insights into this somewhat crazy world of AI?
Why me particularly?
Yeah, why you? Yeah, why are you here?
Why am I here? Yeah, well, I've spent the last 2 years pretty intensively building AI applications for businesses. And this is a new technology. So businesses don't know how to build with it, and they don't know what to build with it. Because it's so new, because it's changing so quickly, it's really hard to stay on top of like, what's the right thing to do today.
Exactly. So did I hear you say that anyone who claims to be an expert is lying?
It's a bit of a fabulous thing to say, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of true. And the reason I say it, let me divide this into two kinds of experts. There are people with PhDs that are designing and developing mathematical-based models and deep learning AI type stuff. Those people are experts. They have PhDs. They're mathematicians, hardcore. Hats off to them. Amazing.
All right.
They typically do not help businesses implement AI for value. Okay?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now the world is currently full of quote unquote AI experts and AI consultants who are going to come in and help solve all your business problems with AI and isn't AI great and listen to the hype of AI and basically rewriting this wave of AI hype. But the problem is it's too new. There is no playbook for how to implement AI in businesses. And so there's a lot of false promises being made out there. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of lack of information. And there's no way to do it. And so every company, in a way, has to develop its own system for how they're going to implement this that's based off their strategy, what they're good at, their strengths, make up for their weaknesses, manage their talent, etc.
Okay, we'll get into those kinds of ideas of strategies and a bit more granular kind of questioning a bit later on. But I did hear you say that, like, you're talking about all the promises out there and that AI is totally overhyped, and yet at the same time, it's going to totally transform everything. So you've got to marry up those two opposite senses there, don't you? How do you do that?
Well, everybody wants an easy answer, right? AI is amazing. Well, then I want AI. What can it do for me?
Yeah.
What's the ROI?
Yeah.
Right?
Return on investment for those people who don't know what that is.
Exactly. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's too early. The technology is new. So, and like I said, there's no playbook. So what I see, I'm in the trenches. I'm building applications. I'm building very custom-built tools for companies. And so I see the value, right? But it's early days. I see how we can use this new technology. It's a paradigm shift in how we are building software. The world is not used to it. We don't have the tooling for it yet. We don't have there's no methodologies that are ready for it. And so it's like an inventive time. It's like 1996 when the web first came out and no one knew what a website was or what a website was supposed to do. It took 5 or 6 years to develop the playbooks and, the understanding for how to do it.
But are we in this stage still where it's a black box, right? We don't understand, or the layperson doesn't understand how it works. The PhDs might,
Yeah,
maybe.
Even they are confused.
Yeah, that's right. So how can a business trust it to make those critical decisions that their business depends upon?
Yeah, we can talk about this at a high level.
Yep.
And I think that's only so helpful.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's like if we were talking about physics, and I was a physics PhD and you were not a physics PhD, we really couldn't have an in-depth conversation about physics.
Yeah.
So I can answer that question on a very technical level, but I'm going to answer it on a more high level.
I think that's the appropriate way to answer it. Yeah.
So the way that you can trust it is that you build it in such a way that it has controls on top of it.
Okay.
You build it so that you can observe what it's doing, and you build it in a modular way to de-risk the application.
Right.
If you're a consumer and you just type any old thing into ChatGPT, you could get all kinds of crazy answers out of it. And then if you sort of take that and extrapolate to a business, then you say, oh, well, a business is going to get crazy answers too. That's not true. You know, the business will develop the application in such a way where there's controls put upon it.
So it's got to be granular. It's got to be designed. It's got to be modular. It's specific to a business need.
Yeah, so I think we have there's three opportunities
Okay.
for this, okay? I think this is really important. There is a top-down opportunity where you say, hey, I've got a business, we have a focus, we do one thing really well, and we want to do a transformative approach to our business that uses AI to deploy or deliver our product in a whole new way. Big paradigm shift. So you get your top people working on that project and you sort of start the top-down approach. The other way is to go bottom up and train all of your people on how to use the basics of AI like ChatGPT, and you give them basic skills for how to use it. Then your whole team gets a feel for this, right? And when they have that feel, they can then start implementing small use cases that drive their personal productivity, and that hopefully ladders up to overall business productivity. Everyone's doing their job faster,
All right,
better.
so top down and bottom up.
Yep.
There's a third way.
The third thing is like vertical. So once you have that feel, then if you're the marketing organization, you start seeing that you can only go so far with these consumer tools like ChatGPT, like the actual chat app. And you start to realize, oh, I know I can do this. I have a feel for this tool, so I feel like this should be possible, but I can't do it with ChatGPT. So then you go and you look in the marketplace. Is there a startup or a company that's delivering a tool that probably has a functionality for my function?
Yeah.
It's a marketing tool. It's a sales tool. It's a data analysis tool, whatever. That's powered by AI that uses this technology in the way that I feel would work. And that's kind of the third way.
Okay.
So,
isn't it overwhelming though? When you actually go out into the marketplace, and I was watching a speech of yours, and you had this slide which had a landscape view of all these names of startups out there, and that probably wasn't all of them. How do you know?
Yeah, it's tough right now. We're early days, right? Some of those startups are probably faking it. Fake it till you make it. This is a Silicon Valley thing big time where, they've got a really nice looking website. They've got a really slick sales guy, and the guy comes out and he's like, I'm going to solve all your problems, and don't you worry about it. Tell me who some of your other customers are. Oh, it's IBM. And it's not IBM. There's like some sales guy, someone did like a, self sign up on some demo app that had an IBM address at it. And so, you got to be really careful.
So you're telling me that this goes on in Silicon Valley all the time?
Oh my God. It is like the bread and butter of Silicon Valley. It's how all these companies get started. Yeah. I think it's okay, right? They're going to find their, customers that their product works for and stuff. So you have to do some due diligence on those things.
Yeah.
But the truth is, like, if you look at that map, which had 1,000 companies on it, it was divided into sections and subsections. And so the marketing was one small square. And in that marketing square, there was like some sub aspect of marketing.
So there's a
automation.
path, perhaps.
Yeah. So for every possible function out there, there's 3 or 4 top dogs that you can look at.
It's not all about plugging in data and letting an AI program sort it out. There were a couple of real-world physical applications combined with AI on show at the conference.
So our solution is a robotic solution that's meant to come out generally in the evenings when there's no humans around.
Peter King is the CEO of Cypher Robotics. That's basically tied a drone to a robot to count packages in a warehouse.
We tether it to a drone so that we can get up to that 40, 50, 60 feet. And the drone will just navigate your aisles, taking images of all of your barcodes within your warehouse, so that when you come in the morning, you'll have a variance report, and a variance report is telling you what bin locations are out inventory, okay? And so now you can have somebody go in and just do spot checks on why are they out, right? So it greatly reduces the need to have somebody on a picker throughout the day, shutting your aisles down, that sort of thing.
The other example on show, a virtual reality headset and program to help surgeons devise intricate surgery plans. Malcolm Laurie is from Apocular Medical. And you've just given me a headset to wear. What am I going to do with this?
Right, well, what we're going to do is see inside this patient so that we can do a patient-specific surgical plan.
Okay, how am I going to see inside a patient with a headset?
Well, I guess the point is we've got all of this great information from a CT scanner, but we only look at it in a 2D slice in grayscale, which is great for radiologists, but for surgeons, they operate on the patient in 3 dimensions, and veins and arteries go all over the place, and they have to plan where the scalpel's going to go. So
quite important.
Yeah, so it's important for them. They see things differently, and if you turn and look at the patient, you'll see how we've taken their grayscale CT scan and turned into full-coloured tissue layered.
Wow, it really is detailed. I can see it's like a slicing through a body there.
It is, yeah. And so this is a real surgical twin. So you plan and practice your surgery on this hologram before you go anywhere near the patient.
2 niche technology products, but the promise of AI is its supposed almost limitless applications. But as Ed Ortega pointed out earlier, there is no playbook. A Microsoft Accenture report on AI adoption in New Zealand found there's a BYO attitude to staff. Like, the staff bring your own AI to work, but at an enterprise level, at a top level, New Zealand businesses are lagging in adoption. I think you've seen that report.
Yeah.
Does that reflect what you see elsewhere?
Yes, I think the bigger the business, typically the slower they move, the more conservative they are, the more they involve legal. It slows down. The other thing is that, like you said, the BYO thing is happening. So a business might say, hey, I don't want to move too fast on this. I'm going to ban AI. Well, we've seen that even companies that ban AI get 43% AI adoption. Yeah. Right. So it's shadow AI, right? Yeah. And the reason is because it's working. So people are finding value in those tools and they're using them. And there's just nothing you can do to stop that, barring
So get on board instead, right?
So get on board. And the way you do that is you do a little due diligence. You create an AI policy. The AI policy helps employees feel safe in using AI. It also gives them some guidance around your particular business and what your risks are. And so they know what the risks are. And you say, hey, you're free to do all this stuff within these boundaries. Yeah. Innovate. Use the technology. Find ways to create value.
Sometimes that's hard in a New Zealand context because, as you know, we have an ecosystem of small to medium-sized enterprises, not massive ones. And if I'm a small business owner, I don't have many staff, and 2, I'm running them flat out because I'm worried about the bottom line. And then you've got AI coming at me. How can I let them experiment at the same time as running my business? It's a real problem.
Yeah, I think the key here is giving people that basic training.
All right.
Because when you have the basic training, you develop the feel for the technology. When you have the basic training, you can start to identify your own use cases. So what you don't want to do is from the top down say, here are the identified use cases, now use the tool, and sort of push people into it by force. What you want to do is you want to give them the tool and say, you be creative, you find your use cases that make you go faster. Nobody wants to do drudgery work.
No.
They want to eliminate it. So if they can find a way to use the tool, get a basic competency with it, eliminate their drudgery work, they automatically can become more productive, and that's on them. And then you look like a genius, right, for giving them this tool.
Such a leader, right?
Yeah.
Is it all about return on investment? I mean, is that the bottom line when introducing AI?
Certainly, there's a lot of conversation about that because that is the paradigm that we have been operating in forever in business. And it makes sense, right? Yeah. That is business. I think the key word there is return. Like, what does return mean for you? And I've been having this conversation a lot. I think it might be a New Zealand thing, especially, or something that you're concerned with here, is maybe not just a single idea of life is about making money, but there might be some other things. Life is about happiness. Life is about, job satisfaction. Life is about job retention, things like that. And so AI can drive those as well. So those are other returns on your investment in AI.
Right. So it's not just about the dollar. It's as you say, so rapidly evolving all the time. How do I know that, I'm going to implement something in my business in this granular way, and then the technology is just going to supersede it in a couple of months' time?
It's a good question,
It's just
Simon.
and what's the point?
It's a great question, and it's an honest, real risk. I've been working on projects, like I said, for the last couple of years, and all of those projects have been superseded by technology releases that have made the work that we did before obsolete.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't work on them. I think of all the projects we've worked on, there's been a couple that have been like, crap, now we can throw everything we've done away, and we can use this new tool, and it does it easier and faster and all this stuff. And so it's like, okay, so we wasted a bunch of money over that time. However, we learned a lot as an organization. We identified a lot of use cases.
So it's okay to fail, I guess, in the early stages, as long as you do it. Do you have to do it quickly? I mean, that's the same old Silicon Valley line, isn't it? Fast fail.
Yeah.
Does it apply here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there were differing opinions about this at the conference. There were some people that were saying, don't think about fast fail, think about fast success, right? I disagree. I don't think you can guarantee success ahead of time. Things are changing too fast. I think you have to have permission to fail within some boundaries, and the key word here is fast. You need to find the key, the nugget of what the AI is accomplishing, really get clear on what that is. Where is the AI going to deliver value, and can we make AI do it? Yes or no? And so spending $50,000, $100,000 to get a no is valuable, right?
Yeah.
It's better than spending $1 million to get a no.
True. Yeah, well, and also, is there, in this rush to adopt that short-term thinking, there's the chance we lose a bit of our humanity in this, isn't it? And the human element in business.
I think so.
And isn't that going to end up being a selling point? If we've all got the technology, what stands out? The human.
Yeah, I think it's a human and a human experience, whether that's driven by a human or driven by AI, is going to be a premium.
Right, you're telling me that I won't be able to tell the difference between a human and an AI. That's what you're telling me there.
Sometimes you won't be able to. Sometimes we can't already.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Where's it going? Okay, so everybody is getting access to the LLMs, the ChatGPT and their equivalents, and now it's getting a bit more granular into business and ways of just dealing with your own data in business and basing AI on that. But after that, there's this talk of agentic AI.
Yep.
So agentic AI is what? Is it just AI agents talking to AI agents?
Yeah, agentic AI is an abstraction. So it's an abstraction. So right now you have what's called an LLM, a large language model. Text goes in, text comes out. And inside that is an algorithm that's amazing, and all the human knowledge is embedded in it. And so the question is what do we do with it, right? Well, we can just ask it questions and it can give us answers, right? What else can it do? Well, it can do a certain amount of reasoning. And so we started to use this to say, hey, AI, come up with a plan. And the AI would say, okay, I can come up with a plan. Here's your plan. And we're like, can you actually deliver on that plan? What if I gave you some tools and told you that you had access to these tools and gave you the ability to command the tools? Could you then execute the plan? And so the AI becomes an agent, an orchestrator of a set of tools that it can use to execute on a plan and deliver a result. What's a really common, easy to get your head around example of this? Trip planning.
So that promise of a personal AI agent is close.
I think it's pretty close. I don't like to delve in futurism because I think we just really
You're
don't
not going
know.
to tell me when we're going to have, artificial general intelligence, are you? Because,
I don't think that's a term that means anything, so I don't even go near that one.
Okay, great.
But I think
that's refreshing from Silicon Valley.
Yeah. But I think the agent thing. Well, first of all, agents is already happening. Silicon Valley is building agents like mad. ChatGPT is actually an agent, but this kind of autonomous agent that has access to your bank account and stuff like that, I'm going to say 1 to 2 years away from that.
1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
Look, there's so much to cover, and it's changing so fast. So I'm going to leave it there. But just one last question. You have been in this field. Well, you were there when, 1996, when the first websites came along. You're here now during the AI era. Does this stuff still excite you?
Oh my God, 100%. I would not be here. I was just telling someone, like, what do I wake up for in the morning? I wake up for that meeting that we have, the stand-up meeting that's part of our development process. We have 2 a day with, for different reasons. And once a week, one of the engineers comes to the meeting and says, look what I got the thing to do. And we're all like, holy crap. That is what I'm here for. I mean, I am so excited we're at the beginning, and I'm so excited for like where we're going with this. I'm an optimist. I'm a humanist. I think we're going to use this to make our lives much better. I think we're going to find a lot of opportunity in this technology, and so I can't wait to see where it goes.
And that wraps up this episode of the NBR Podcast. Links to audio used are in the description. Thanks to content producers Jake Latham and Joseph Hisayasu. And for early access to new episodes, subscribe at nbr.co.nz. All episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts. Next up, the NBR investigates how Hawke's Bay is recovering from Cyclone Gabrielle almost 2 years on. I'm Simon Shepherd. We'll catch you then.